Hi, and welcome to my guide of the quest Icthlarin's Little Helper. The quest requirement is Gertrude's cat, and there are no stat requirements for the items needed. Any sized living cat, so no clockwork. Then also bring along at least 30 coins if you're gonna be buying the linen from the NPC inside of Sophanum, but you could also buy this from the Grand Exchange. A tinderbox, a bucket of sap. To get this, you will need to use a knife on an evergreen tree with a bucket in your inventory. An evergreen tree is a regular level 1 woodcutting tree, which is cone-shaped. Then also an empty bucket or a bag of salt, which you can buy from any Slayer Master. Some willow logs and 2 filled waterskins. For the recommended items, approximately 3 stamina potions, 1 antidote, and then also a weapon to kill a combat 91 as well as a combat 75. The combat 91 is a mage and a combat 75 could either be a mage or a warrior. For the gear, if you have 43 prayer, I would suggest you to bring along your weight reducing clothing and maybe 1 prayer potion should be enough. If you do not have 43 prayer, then I would suggest you to bring along your melee tank armor with some food and maybe an additional energy potion. Then finally, for the teleports, nothing really, just 1 teleport away from Sophanum after the quest is completed. So, where to start this quest is here, kind of. I'm currently in Polnifnich, just next to Norda, south of El Carrot. To get to the quest start, we will need to pass Polnifnich, going south until you hit the river. From the river, follow it going westward until you see a bridge. Keep following the river until you see the bridge, and then cross it going south. Cross the bridge and keep running south until you see an oasis. Here at the oasis, there on the edges, there you should find a collect option. Do so when you have an empty bucket and you'll get a bucket of salt water. You don't need to do this if you have brought a bag of salt. Next, let's go east until you see the quest start. Now before talking to the Wanderer, who will show us the secret entrance into the quarantined city of the dead called Sophanum, so if you were to leave town before completing the quest, you will need to go through the secret passage, which is this rock just northeast of the Wanderer's tent. So be sure to remember this rock if you were to leave Sophanum. Alright, let's now start our quest by dropping our pet cat and let's talk to the Wanderer. The Wanderer really doesn't like your cat and she will tell you a secret passageway how to get into the city of Sophanum if you would take your cat away. Select the first option, yes, to start the Icthlarin's Little Helper quest. You will now make your way through the secret entrance into the city of Sophanum. Next to you, you'll find a door. Open it to enter Clinter's pyramid. Your vision is a little bit hazy, but what we'll now need to do is make our way to the end of the pyramid to a pit. Use the minimap and click north, and let your character pass all the traps of this pyramid automatically. Keep using the minimap until you see a pit. Be sure to drink some stamina potions if your run energy would drop below 30%. We will need to have at least 20 to 30% run energy and maybe also unequipping what we are holding in our hands before jumping the pit. Be sure to use only your minimap to navigate through the pyramid, and this way you should pass all the traps automatically. Keep following the pyramid until you see a big pit. Be sure that your run energy is above 20% and then jump across the pit. If you fail to make the jump, then you will be back at the start. Simply make your way back to the pit to try again. Next, let's run west and you'll find a room. Try to open the door and this will be a small puzzle. Usually you start a puzzle with the bottom row being flipped and the top row are not visible. If it isn't, you could click on the bird to reset the puzzle. Keep resetting it until you have this. To solve this puzzle, we will first need to click on the tile, which is on the second row, second column, then the first row, final column, the fifth one, and then the third row, fifth column. And this should solve your puzzle. And also, it will end your hallucination. Next, let's drop the pet cat and let's talk to the Sphinx. Select option 1, 2, 1. The first option is to agree with the riddle of the Sphinx, and the answer of the riddle is number 9, which is option number 2. And the third option is yes, that you're absolutely sure. If you give a wrong answer by not selecting option 2, then you will lose your cat. If you've lost your cat, then you will need to make your way back to Gertrude with 100 GP to buy another kitten, and then make your way all the way back here to try to solve the riddle again. Once we've gotten the information from the Sphinx, let's go southwest to the altar. Inside of the altar, we'll find a high priest. He's really new at his job, and he really has no time for adventurers, because another adventurer just plundered a pyramid, which was you. So to fix our mess, let's return to the Sphinx. Well, not really the Sphinx, to the dungeon sign next to the Sphinx, and let's open the door once again. Let's open the door once again to enter the pyramid, but this time not hypnotized. Once again, let's use our minimap to avoid all the traps automatically and make our way back to the pit to jump across it. Now, right before we are going to the pit, let's right click and examine the canopic jar, and let's see what the lid is shaped of. If it is a man or a bug, you will need to fight a combat 75 warrior. If it is an ape or a crocodile, you will need to fight a combat 75 mage. Be sure to pray accordingly. Next, let's make the jump across the pit and click on continue to be hypnotized again. Open the door and examine the canopic jars laying on the ground to find the one that is yours and pick that one up to spawn the guardian. Defeat the guardian and then pick up that canopic jar. If you don't know which canopic jar to pick up, then just try all of them until a guardian spawns. You can only pick up your canopic jar anyway. The other ones you will just simply not be able to pick up. Defeat the guardian and then pick up your jar. Once you've done that, let's open the door to exit the room and let's jump the pit again. Make sure that you have at least above 20 run energy. Once you've realized what you've done and you have snapped out of the hypnosis, let's jump across the pit again. Ah, damn it. Are you serious? It's 81 agility. Be sure that you have at least 30 run energy and then jump the pit again. Let's return to the western room. Open the door and you will see the same puzzle again. Be sure that your top row is not flipped and the bottom row is flipped. Then click on the tile, the second column, second row. First row, fifth column. And then the third row, fifth column. This should solve your puzzle. And then drop your canopic jar in the correct spot to return the burial. And let's make our way back to the high priest by opening the door and jumping across the pit. Now the fastest way back to the entrance would be to fail the pit right now. If you have less than 20% run energy, you can't even do it. Okay, let's run all the way back then. They've made a lot of changes recently with the release of Beneath Cursed Sands. Let's run all the way back to the entrance of the pyramid. Let's climb up the ladder to exit, and let's return to the high priest. There is an altar in the church, so if you've used some prayer points, you could always recharge your prayer before talking to the high priest. And he will tell you that with the return of the burial jar back into the pyramid, we'll now be able to prepare for the ceremony to lay Clenter's spirit back to rest. But therefore, we will first need to do a job for the carpenter and the embalmer. First, let's run south. After the conversation is over, don't select anything and enter the building just south of the church. There you'll find the embalmer. Talk to him. If you've bought and brought all the items before starting the quest, which is the bag of salt from Slayer Masters, the bucket of sap from an evergreen, and the linen from the Grand Exchange, then the embalmer will just take those 3 things and you are already done. If you do not have the linen nor the bag of salt, then you'll first need to go a little bit east. Just a bit east, they'll find a sun trap. Use your bucket of salt water on the sun trap and you will get a pile of salt. This is item number 2 out of 3. The first item is the bucket of sap, which is not obtainable in the desert, and you should have gotten that before starting the quest. For item number 3, we will first need to go a little bit north. Keep going north, north of the carpenter. Around the building near the spinning wheel sign, there you should find an NPC called Reatul. Be sure to have 30 coins and talk to him. And then buy 1 linen. Next, let's go south. Let's go to the building south to do the second part. This is talking to the carpenter in the building just south. Let's talk to the carpenter and he will need some willow logs. And he will craft the willow logs into a holy symbol. Next, let's go back to the embalmer with your linen, your bucket of sap, and your pile of salt, or the bag of salt. Let's talk to the embalmer to complete task 2 out of 2. Next, let's head back inside of the pyramid for the 3rd and the final time. And we'll need to make our way back to the pit that we have jumped across for also the 3rd and the final time. So once again, let's use our minimap to avoid all the traps in this pyramid. And let's make our way back to the pit to jump across. Be sure that you have at least 20 to 30 run energy before making the jump. Oh, but oh no, you are hypnotized again. Let's now go to the ceremonial room east, enter it, and use the unholy symbol on any sarcophagus. Once you've hidden it inside, you'll be back across the pit. Let's make that jump one last time. Ah, god damn it, dude. Once you've made across, let's go back to the eastern ceremonial room, but before opening the door, you will trigger the second and the final boss fight of this quest. Against the possessed priest, which has a max hit of 9, and you will use magic. So use protect from magic and open the door. The prayer seems to be off, so turn it back on quickly and defeat the possessed priest. Let's talk to the high priest to complete your quest. Or do we need to go back into the city? Yeah, we need to make our way back into the city. So let's open the door to trigger another cutscene, and this will also take you outside of the pyramid. Next, let's go west. Let's talk to the high priest inside of the church to complete your quest. And congratulations, you have completed Icthlarin's little helper quest. You are awarded with 4500 thieving experience, 4000 agility and woodcutting experience, the amulet of cat speak, as well as a quest requirement for the following quests: rat catches, a tale of two cats, and contact. With the completion of this quest, you've now also unlocked the magical carpet, which will take you from Polnivnic to Sophanum. Yeah, do not click to continue by talking to the high priest, but because that will start the following quest, contact. Oh, really? They removed the additional dialogue by talking to your cat, really? Then talk to your cat and select option 5, and this should trigger an extra cutscene of the viewpoint of the cat. And this was my guide how to complete Icthlarin's little helper quest. Hopefully it has helped. Subscribe, rate and comment. Okay, thanks, bye.